Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be watching from, and welcome to AMN Healthcare International's live show, Onwards and Upwards, where we discuss everything a global healthcare worker needs to know about living and working in the United States. I am your host, Danielle Friedman, and very excited to be here with you all today. I am so excited to be doing a client showcase with one of our healthcare employers down in Memphis, Tennessee. We are going to be bringing out the lovely Methodist Le Bonheur healthcare system, and we are so excited to hear from them once again. We're going to learn more about their team. Let's bring up what we're going to learn about today. We're going to learn more about their team. We're going to go inside Methodist, learn about the AMN partnership. We're going to talk about life in Memphis, Tennessee. We're going to hear all about the career growth potential at Methodist Le Bonheur. And we're going to do an exclusive behind-the-scenes moments at Methodist Le Bonheur, where we're going to hear firsthand stories from the staff and from the nurses all about their experiences. So please post your questions in the chat. We have an amazing panel today, and I love to take questions from the chat. So please make sure I will be following along, post them, and I will take them as they come in. Please let us know where you're watching from today. We are AMN Healthcare International, where we offer direct hire and staffing options all across the USA. And today we are excited to feature Methodist Le Bonheur Healthcare. So without further ado, let's bring out our expert panel that's going to be talking all about Methodist and life in Tennessee. Good morning to everybody. How are you all doing?
Fabulous. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Daniel. Thank you for having us here.
Nice to see some new faces, some familiar faces. I am excited to see what everybody has to share today. Why don't we go around and do a little bit of introductions? So Heather, why don't we start with you?
Sure. I'm Heather Crawford. I'm the Chief Nurse Executive for the Methodist Le Bonheur Healthcare System. So I oversee all of the nursing services across the entire system, which is composed of 6 hospitals and over 100 clinics across the Mid-South area.
Wonderful. Well, we look forward to hearing a little bit more. Can you also share how long you've been in Memphis, Tennessee? We want to hear how long everybody's been in the area.
Sure. So I'm new. I'm a new Memphian. Memphian is the term we use for those who have lived in Memphis for a long time. So I'm new to Memphis. I relocated here about 6 months ago from California. It has been an amazing transition. I've been a nurse for over 26 years, worked in a variety of different healthcare settings. But now I've come to Memphis, and I've come to Methodist Le Bonheur Healthcare and really been drawn by the mission of the organization to serve our community and really make a difference in the lives of the patients that we serve. And we do that across the Mid-South and in a variety of different settings, not just a hospital setting, but we have home hospice, we have clinics, urgent cares, lots of different settings across the Mid-South. So it's very exciting to be part of this organization.
Okay, that's great, Heather. Well, I'm excited to hear a little bit more. I can already feel your passion and excitement in the introduction. So I'm very excited to hear a little bit more from the newbie Memphian. Was it? Memphian?
Yes.
Love that. Okay, so let's turn to Karen next. Let's hear a little bit more about you.
Good morning. Yes, I have been at Methodist Le Bonheur. It's my 28th year, and it's been a wonderful journey. I started as a bedside nurse, went to the next level as we call a patient care coordinator, and now I've been a clinical director for probably the last 12 years. I have 2 units, 2 med-surg floors, the 11th pulmonary floor at Le Bonheur Children's, and the 12th floor, medical specialties. It's just been a great place to work. I've lived here all my life. What she said about the Mid-South area, we border basically 3 states, and I live across the bridge. I'm 15 minutes from downtown Memphis where I work. And it's, I live in Arkansas, and we see a lot of children from Arkansas, Mississippi, and of course, Tennessee. So it's just a great place to live and work and enjoy every minute.
Well, I am very excited to hear from you, Karen. Sounds like you have a lot to share about career growth. You've been there for a long time and you've really worked your way up. So I'm sure you're going to have a lot of good insight as a longtime resident. So we look forward to that. Let's go to Dawn next.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Don Guimera. Originally from the Philippines. Memphis is my second home. I've been here, I migrated here in 1994. Been with Methodist for the last 12 years, and I'm the corporate manager for infection prevention. And I'm currently based at Le Bonheur Children's Hospital, but have responsibilities with all our other 6 facilities. Happy to be with you guys, and I look forward to your questions and sharing some experiences that we have here for you.
Wonderful, Dawn. So you're our longtime immigrant who's going to share all the insights for everybody who is curious about coming and living in the United States. We actually moved a similar time, Dawn. I moved to the United States in 2000. So sounds like we've both been here for 20-ish years. I guess you've been here for almost 30 years. Wow, that's amazing. Well, we are very excited to hear more. And last but certainly not least, Leonard, let's go next.
Thanks, Daniel. I'm also a new Memphian here, same like Heather. So I was relocated here like less than a year. And I've been a nurse for quite some time, working in different, some parts of Middle East and in Europe. And now I'm currently working in Methodist University as a cath lab nurse. And we're dealing with complex PCIs and structurals and putting stents on during emergency and irregular cases. Thank you.
Okay, Leonard, so you're coming up almost on your year, right? You moved last summer to the
That's
US?
correct. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, well, that's very exciting. You're going to have a year under your belt, and I'm sure you've learned a lot and gone through all the different emotions that come with moving to a new place. So we're very excited to hear more. I see there's lots of comments in the chat. Leonard, I saw there was a comment for you from Maria. She says, "Go, Leonard, proud of you." So that's nice. We love to see the support in the chat. And I see lots of people watching from all around the world. We've got Crystalline watching from Saudi Arabia. We have a lot of people watching and going to be posting questions in the chat. So if you are inspired by what you hear from our panel today, please feel free to apply on our website. That link is amnhealthcare.com/international. And our recruiters are on hand, ready, and waiting to take your applications for Methodist. Okay, guys, so let's get started. I want to get to know all of you a little bit better. We did a showcase with Methodist in Memphis a couple of months ago, and that was amazing to get to know your team and the location and the area and the hospitals. But I'd love to go a little bit deeper today. So let's start with Heather. Let's talk a little bit more about what makes Methodist unique. So, and I think maybe you can also just share, where is Methodist located? You kind of touched on it, but maybe go a little bit into detail.
Yeah, so we're in the bottom corner of Tennessee, and what Karen said earlier is important. Is Tennessee has 8 states that border it, the most states in all of the country, actually. But we have 3 key states that are our border. So we're in that bottom left corner. And that really gives us a great opportunity to serve a really large area, which we call the Mid-South. And we are really proud of the fact that we are the largest system and one of the largest systems in Tennessee, representing the Mid-South area. So we have over 1,200 associates, and we partner with over 2,000 providers to really make this complex health system work across the Mid-South and offer a lot of different health opportunities. I think what really makes Methodist special is, one, our hospitals are located all throughout Memphis. We really represent Memphis very well in how we're positioned, and that's very purposeful, and that allows us to truly serve the community in its entirety of Memphis. So we have a hospital located, our University Hospital is in what we would call our downtown area of Memphis. And then we have our South Hospital, which is in the southern part of Memphis, and our North, which is in the northern part of Memphis. Our Germantown Hospital, which is in a bordering city to Memphis, which is right outside of the Memphis border. And then our Le Bonheur Children's Hospital. So this is a very special part of the Methodist portfolio. This is a level 1 trauma all children's facility. I believe it's the second. Karen, you might have to. I had it in my notes. I'm new to this, so excuse me. I don't have everything. I think it's one of the only 2 hospitals in all of Tennessee, children's hospitals, all children's hospitals in Tennessee. Hopefully that's correct. So we really have this great portfolio across Memphis and the Mid-South. And then we have our hospital in Olive Branch, which is right across the border in Mississippi. So serving our Mississippi area as well.
Okay, wow. Sounds like quite an expansive and like a far-reaching health system. So that is very amazing to see, and a lot of different locations. You know, there's something I remember you touching on a couple of months ago, Heather. You said something about being magnet. What does that mean, and how does that make you unique?
Yeah. So of our 6 hospitals, 2 of our hospitals are magnet designated, our Children's Hospital, Le Bonheur, our Children's Hospital, and our North Hospital. And this is something that we are very committed to across the system. And magnet is a national and becoming, I believe, international designation for nursing excellence. And we believe that this is really how we set ourselves apart and hold ourselves to a high standard on how we ensure this is the best place for nurses to practice care, and that we have the best quality outcomes for our patients. And we really are committed to delivering on both every day.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So magnet really is kind of that gold standard for nursing. And only, absolutely, I believe it's only 10% of hospitals in the U.S. have that designation. Is that right? I see everybody kind of nodding their head.
That is correct. We are definitely among the few. And as a system, we're committed to this. So we really see ourselves as how do we position ourselves to get everyone on this journey and moving into this direction, because this is really a commitment to the quality of care and how we really improve care for our patients by making sure we have the right environment for nurses to practice.
Wow. Okay. Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that, Heather. That's so interesting to hear. So I want to turn to Leonard and kind of switch gears a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about what your first days were like when you came to the U.S. and why you decided to come to the U.S.?
Yeah, if I clearly remember, if I recall, my first day here in the States, it was really the most exciting part of our journey. I was with my wife and my son, and on our way we came from the UK, and then on our way to the airport, I could feel the energy from my son. He said, "That is the most happiest moment of my life." And I'm very excited to be in the States because it was a childhood dream to watch the NBA. And yes, that's the pictures there. It's the first time we watched NBA together. And I fulfilled the promise to bring my son over there. It's like 2 to 3 minutes away from Methodist University. And during our flight, when we arrived at the airport in Atlanta, which is our point of entry, and we moved from Atlanta, we fly to going to Memphis International Airport, and it was really amazing with how the EMN and the support staff, the license officers, and the community license officers, and our AMN staff supported us. They contacted us every now and then. Our locations, do we have anything emergencies? How about our foods? We're able to take foods. How about transportations? They even provide us a massive space for our accommodations. They provide us our Airbnb where we could relax after we arrive, giving us a good foods, and they always tell us to try a good barbecue stations here in Memphis. And it's really a happiest moments of our life on our first day here in the U.S.
Oh, you could make my heart like tear. Wow, Leonard, that was very beautiful. You know, I remember the moment I stepped off the airplane coming from South Africa. I literally have chills. It's a feeling that you can't even put into words. It's such an accomplishment to feel that you've done it, you've made it, you've reached that American dream, and then to walk into a system like Methodist and to feel that warmth and that support, I'm sure that made that transition really, really all the more easier and special for you. So thank you for sharing that, Leonard. Dawn, I kind of see you nodding your head like this. What's been for you? I mean, you've been at Methodist for some time. What's kept you there, and what made you really feel most welcome when you first started? Oh, you're on mute.
Thank you. So, as you know, I've been here for a while in Memphis, and Memphis is a second home. And what brought me here and decided to stay here is, one, the low cost of living, the opportunities there's a strong sense of community in the area. And this holds true for Methodist as well. Methodist offers belongingness once you are within the system. It is value driven, it's committed to patient safety. It allows you to grow professionally as a nurse. Even though I came in here not directly from the Philippines, but the opportunities that it allowed me to grow and work with various disciplines, work with various hospitals within the system. It's quite fulfilling as a professional nurse.
Thank you for sharing that, Dawn. You said something about value-driven and patient safety that I think are really important to hone in on. I see everybody kind of nodding their head. You know that it's a group feeling, that at Methodist, everybody feels that way. And I've felt that from my showcases with Methodist. So thank you for sharing that. I think it can be quite scary when you're coming from another country and imagining a completely different health system. What's it going to feel like? What are the people going to be like? What's their values? So to know that patient safety is such a high value for Methodist and value driven, those are big things. So thank you for sharing, Dawn. Karen, I want to turn to you next. So you have been what did we call it? A longtime Memphian. What's kept you at Methodist? It sounds like you've had quite an amazing career projection, career growth, which I'm sure is something that a lot of international nurses are really looking for when they're choosing a system.
Yes, thank you. I started actually in nursing school because the school I went to didn't have I thought maybe I wanted to do peds. And so that we didn't, to have a better opportunity, I started actually as a nurse assistant, PCA. I worked while I was in school, and just to see if I liked it, and I loved it. And I've never looked back. I transitioned from nursing school straight into, like I said, as an RN at the bedside, and it really is a family. It's a family atmosphere. You get to know the people you work for. And you do, values are huge. We talk about this every day. Even when we're interviewing people, we base them on our values at Methodist, and we focus on that a lot. We treat each other right. And I'm proud to say that. We've come a long way in the nursing world, and we support each other. And I always say, people tell it before I say it, everybody's got a boss, so we talk to each other and we treat each other fairly and professionally. And just for instance, I work hand in hand with Don. I mean, he's one of my bosses and I love it. We work together to help control, what we do on the units and as far as infection prevention. And it really is, you get to know them on a personal level, and everyone does feel like your family. And I've had some experience in the hospital as an adult at the Methodist system with myself or my parents. And it's just, I'm proud to say I work here. And my whole family, even my grandkids, when they see the big heart in the sky, there's KK's work. That's where, and it makes me proud. And I can say that every day. And I will continue this. The last days of my career will be spent here because it just means a lot. And it gets in you and your system, and you don't want everything, nothing else compares.
Wow. Well, I can tell just from how emotional you're getting, Karen, that there's a lot of love there. And there's a lot of collaboration and a lot of support, which is very important when you're considering moving your whole family, coming to a completely different place in the world. You want to go to a place where they have that heart. Literally, you have the heart all over Methodist, which is amazing. So I'm seeing a lot of questions in the chat asking about what you're looking for and what kind of RNs you're recruiting. So I can see everybody's excited, which is great. Heather, can you tell us a little bit more about what you're looking for in your international nurses?
Sure. We are currently recruiting, I believe, 100 nurses, about 100 nurses for our acute care, our acute care hospitals. So we're looking for nurses with approximately 1 year of acute care experience within the space. And so we would like people to have been in the space for about a year in a hospital size, about 100 beds or more, so that we have equivalency in acuity of our patients. And we're looking in a variety of areas, anywhere from ED to med surg to NICU to pediatrics to ICU, CVICU, MICU, pediatric MICU and CVICU. So really have a variety of positions across, but all currently very acute care focused in our acute care units currently.
Okay, so that's great information for all of our nurses. I saw plenty of comments asking about application requirements and what you're looking for. So hopefully that is a good and exciting answer. Methodist is going to be doing a very large recruitment drive. And if you're interested, please apply on our website. We're going to put that link in the chat. That's amnhealthcare.com/international, and you can apply to interview today. We also have our recruitment director, Deidre O'Regan, who is answering some questions in the chat. Thank you, Dee. Shout out to you. So if you have questions and we don't get to them, she is going to be answering all of your questions. So don't worry, but we're going to try and take as many questions as we can. So let's talk a little bit more about the partnership between AMN and Methodist. It's been a long-standing partnership. I think before even a lot of our times. Karen's probably seen it. And Dawn has probably seen it in practice. But for me, Leonard, and Heather, it's a fairly new thing, although it's been going on for a while. And it's an amazing partnership. You guys have a growing, beautiful international community. Karen, do you want to maybe take a moment just to speak a little bit about that community and what you've seen on the ground?
Oh, it's been wonderful. First of all, it's an honor to meet so many experienced nurses, and they come in here very excited and they stay excited, and they've really helped. To me, I have 2 different units, and I'm responsible a total of about 100 people. And on both of those units, one I have about 8 international nurses and 4 on the other unit. And they've been a breath of fresh air. It's been nice. I've never, like I said, done management for a long time, and to be able to have this many experienced nurses come in and excited and so knowledgeable that, we don't really have to show them much other than show them how maybe our equipment looks different from what they've seen before. And so that's been refreshing. And, we put them with a preceptor, and, they're learning and growing, and, I'm just excited to have them. And it just, they were already come in with such experience and knowledge that, it just kind of helps us go to the next level. We don't have to focus on, the more of a new grad, because we do. That's, I love our new grads, and I like to watch them grow as well. But this takes it to a whole nother level. And I enjoy working with them every day. And it's probably one of the highlights of what I do. And this is new to us in the last few years, and I'm so happy, and it's really exciting to be a part of it.
Thank you for sharing, Karen. And Leonard is one of those newer nurses. So Leonard arrived last summer. Leonard, can you tell us a little bit about how AMN supported you during that transition coming from your home country? Did you come from, I don't know if you came straight from the Philippines, but to come to the United States? Maybe you can talk a little bit about what that felt like.
Yeah, the AMN really helps me from employment to deployment processing. It was really a brilliant, excellent process, no hassle. I was interviewed in when I was in the Middle East, and we moved in the UK because I was waiting for my priority date that time, and then we try to communicate through emails, sorts like that, and try to provide all my credentials, my documents into the lawyers, immigrations to process, and then EMN keep on. If there is a delayed because sometimes the priority date has been stopped, or there's a temporary stop of temporary cessations of deployment. So they keep on reassuring you that time will be there for you. You'll be able to go to the US in time. And then when we moved to the US, we got interviewed in the embassy at around, I think it was May or June, and then finally we went to United States on last week of July and arrived around 25th or 26th in July. And then I really appreciate the AMN with this. They sent me an email about the first 30 days in the United States, particularly in Tennessee, where you could find your housing, you could find your car, you could find a school for your kids, and the contact numbers for the emergencies, even the support group. They provided me with informations about the Filipino American Memphis community here and the churches. They provide us with the activities where we can hang out, enjoy nice foods, and also they provide us with the plenty amount of time to adjust with the environment, and then good transportations. And really, it's a continuous support we receive from the EMN even after we start our works, we start our employment. They really send us messages or email and asking how are you doing so far. After 3 months, they keep on messaging us, asking for what improvements you got. Do you need anything from us? Any support needed from us? So that's very overwhelming feeling. I'm very thankful and honored for that opportunity given to us by the EMN. It really helped us to boost ourselves. There were times that we're also feeling down, like, oh, what to do with this, what to do with this. But again, EMN is always there to support you, and I'm very happy and glad that I went to this office during my applications to the US.
Thank you, Leonard. Well, that definitely warms my heart to hear that you had a lot of support. I think it's so important when you're imagining moving across the world to another country to know that you can really rely on the people who are bringing you, and you're having social support, housing, transportation, things for your children. So there's a lot that goes into it that you might not think right away. And that made me very happy to hear that you felt supported, even during those tough times, because it is not a smooth sailing. I see Don's kind of nodding his head. I'm sure you have felt this, Don. Can you tell us a little bit about your thoughts here? And also maybe you can just touch on, I know that you and Leonard are both from the Philippines, but you have a whole beautiful community of international nurses. Can you tell us what that looks like?
Sure. I echo the sentiments what Leonard is saying, but let me just back up a little bit and talk about Methodist healthcare. Methodist, the organization values and embraces diversity and fostering a more inclusive environment where everyone's unique contributions are recognized. And I think that is an important factor when you're looking at places to work. And Methodist has been named actually and recognized nationally as one best place to work in healthcare. That being said, I think Leonard also touches on a little bit of the community here in Memphis. We have a growing and a vibrant Filipino American community here. As and the hospitals within the system are not really far from each other, and so community transportation in between facilities is not really a big issue when you are in town. So, and we are, and I always tell when I encountered our international nurses on the units, you are, I'm a phone call away. A lot of your directors are a phone call away. So don't hesitate to reach out. Oftentimes our international nurses, we are here not to train you as a nurse. You are coming in with wealth of experience and knowledge. And we are, Methodist is so excited to learn those things. And you may have some new ideas, and the system is very open to those ideas. And working with a diverse community, I think makes everyone, makes the system stronger, makes the hospital stronger, and ultimately it's keeping a high quality of care and keeping our patients safe.
Well, thank you for sharing all of that, Dawn. It sounds like you were really welcomed into the team, and really felt valued and a part of the team. I think when you're coming from another country, to know that your opinion is going to be valued is huge. That really, you can't say enough about that. So thank you for sharing that, Dawn. I see there's a comment from Jen. Jen says that she is waiting for her priority date to be current, and she's looking forward to being a part of the Methodist Le Bonheur family. So it looks like Jen is excited to join your family. There we go. So thank you for commenting, Jen. I could see the Methodist team is all smiling and excited for you to arrive. So Heather, I want to turn to you. What led Methodist to partner with AMN in bringing international nurses, and how important is that program to Methodist?
Yeah, this is a vital program for us, for really ensuring that we have a really stable RN workforce to meet the needs of our patients and our community across the Mid-South. So we started our relationship really before AMN with Kinetics, and that relationship has been happening for a very long time. We actually have one of the largest international program footprints in the state of Tennessee. And over the time, we've had a relationship between Kinetics and then AMN, which ultimately now the same. We've recruited over 500 international nurses. And I think our we have currently working, I think probably more than 200 currently working. And that relationship has gone on for, I think, close, maybe even 10 years. I'm not sure on the years, but it's been a very long time. And the other piece for everyone to know is we're just doing 100, but we anticipate a consistent pipeline for international nurses here at Methodist Le Bonheur Healthcare, because this is really how we feel we can support our community. And what Dawn said earlier and what Karen said is, when we bring in international nurses into our family, one, we want them to be part of our family. We want them to come and see an opportunity to grow their career. You may start in an acute care role, but there's all kinds of opportunities. I think Dawn is a great example. He's a director of infection control. We have all kinds of opportunities, whether it's a leadership opportunity or a specialty care services opportunity, or just you've been a nurse in one area. We had an international nurse the other day who's been an ED nurse for a really long time and just wanted to try something new. And so we're working with that nurse to figure out what's the right place for them to see a new care environment and to check it out and see how it will work for them to meet what their needs are in their current stage of life and with their family and with their needs and work-life balance and such. So this relationship is incredibly important to us, and continued pipeline and in order for us to really support how we serve our community. I think the thing that's unique about Methodist Le Bonheur Healthcare and our international nurse relationship is, especially over this last year, we've really leaned into making sure we're listening and offering opportunities to meet with our international nurses specifically. So each of our CNOs at their sites have quarterly meetings with our international nurses to talk with them to make sure that they're getting the resources and the support that they need. And to what Dawn said, not so much about just the clinical care that they're providing, but that they feel connected with other people within their community, across the community, and within Memphis. And we make sure that those connections are strong so people feel, one, like they're part of the family when they're here at Methodist Le Bonheur, but part of the community when they're here in Memphis. That's really important to us.
Wow, Heather, I didn't even know about that. So that's amazing to share. So you're telling me that you do meetings with international nurses and leadership, and everybody gets together to make sure that your nurses are really plugged in.
Yes.
Wow.
And we do that every quarter at each hospital. That started earlier this year. And in addition, for several years, and Dawn may know that many years, but it was actually my first day here at Methodist. It was November 14th of this last year. We do an annual thankful giving celebration where we bring all of our international associates beyond just nursing, because we have international associates outside of nursing, together to share a meal with leadership and together, and people bring food and we share in community together once a year. It's around what we call Thanksgiving here in the US. And so it's a time for us to be thankful for being here and coming together as a group also. So that's to bring everyone across all of the sites to be able to share and come together as well.
Wow. Well, I think that's a pretty special and unique program, because when you're coming from another country and there's a huge fear of feeling alone or isolated or not seen, to know that you're going to come to a place that really puts such an emphasis on international nurses, on connection, on making sure that they're not just connected to the health system, but also the community. That's a pretty unique and special program. So thank you for sharing that, Heather. So Karen, I want to turn to you for one last question before we delve into what life is like in Memphis, Tennessee. I wanted to ask, how has the partnership with AMN and bringing international nurses improved staffing and patient care? Have you seen positive results there?
Most definitely. We, like most hospitals in the country, probably in the world, suffered during COVID as far as our nursing staffing numbers. In the pediatric world, that's what I can speak to. We didn't have the patient population during the COVID. It didn't affect the peds world. So in saying that, we lost a lot of our nurses. They moved back home. They took different jobs. A lot of them went to the adult world. And so we had to rebuild our staffing, and this came at a perfect time to really help enhance our teams and to build our teams and to really to grow and to be able, because of course our census has come back up and we're rocking and rolling, and this is really what's helped get us more stabilized again, and to be able to take fabulous care of our patients. And we're very proud of what we do, and we take everything very personal, and we treat each other like we're family, like I said, and we treat our patients like they're part of our family. And so it's really important to what we're doing. And the staffing, it's really, our numbers are wonderful as far as our outcomes and our quality. So we're just, we're doing things right, and, having this stability of coming in with our experienced nurses, and they're hardworking and they're so knowledgeable. And, I just enjoy it so much, and watching them grow, and they come together. They're a cohesive team, and, they're just really, they're a good group of people. I'm very proud of them.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you for sharing. I can really feel your heart when you're speaking about this program. You could tell that it really matters to you. So thank you so much for sharing. It's very beautiful to see. I see a lot of questions in the chat about specialties, about experience, about what kind of processing and how the immigration works. So just to echo what Heather said, Methodist, this is a very, very important program to Methodist, our international nurse program. And we are going to be doing a big recruitment drive where they're going to be hiring 100 nurses It sounds like all specialties are welcome. I see a lot of nodding heads, so I think we're going to go with that, which is great. So if you have experience in an acute care setting, and you have passed your NCLEX and you would like to apply to be a part of the Methodist family, you can apply at amnhealthcare.com/international, and our recruiters will help you with your applications, and we are excited for them. So let's talk a little bit about life in Memphis. So Leonard, I'm going to go to you first. What do you love about living in Memphis? And based on your picture that I just saw at the basketball game, I think I know where you're going to go. But let's see. What do you love most about living in Memphis?
The people around here. I agree with Ma'am Heather, Karen, Hansi, Don, and all the staff here, and even in this hospital, Methodist Le Bonheur, they're very brilliant and friendly. In fact, when I first joined here in the hospital on August 12th, I met doctors, and not to mention those doctors that I've met give me the free tickets for 3 consecutive games of NBA for me and my son. It's free. Okay. The doctors give it to me. I gain a support from my clinical directors, Ms. Corti Cordno, and my PCC, Heather, and our senior director, Casterns. A lot of top management. They always bring their smile whenever they saw me in the hallway. A lot of the staffs are, giving me some ideas. And hey, want to go there? Your son will love this. There is a park in there, the Shelby Park. Your son will gonna love this. And there is a Bass Pro Shop. That one is very nice. We went in the top, seeing the beautiful landscape of the Mississippi River and the bridge. My son loves that one, and the foods there also is nice. There's a Filipino community here, and they always invited us for some activities like the Fiesta Pinoy and the Easter egg hunt. And we really enjoy everything here in Memphis, most particularly in the Methodist Le Bonheur organizations, because here you find a family, you find friends, and you have a good support from your leaders, your staff, your groups. Everyone here is brilliant, and they're very helpful, and I couldn't ask for more. I'm not sure we're quoting, but it is real. These people are true, and they always help you to progress, and they always promote a good family ties. And also allow me to tell you this. My wife also is a nurse, and when we came here, she hasn't had a job. And I asked my team leaders, my director, clinical director, senior directors, and our recruitment staff, Ms. Stephanie, that, hey, can you look for some opportunity for my wife also to work in these organizations? Because I find this organization perfect for nurses, for international nurses, and for everybody. So I want my wife also to join these organizations. And without hesitations, they hire my wife in the operating department. And I'm very thankful and honored for this opportunity from Methodist Le Bonheur Healthcare.
Wow. Well, I think that really speaks volumes that you wanted your wife to come work there as well. So that is amazing, Leonard. Thank you for sharing all of that insight about the beautiful community that's there that made you feel welcome. I think at the end of the day, each city has its own beautiful sights and beautiful landscape and all of that. But what really matters the most is the people and who you're going to be working with and who you're surrounded with. And it sounds like quite a welcoming, loving, warm community, which for an international nurse is so important. And I'm sure so grateful for that. So Dawn, I want to turn to you. What do you love about living in Memphis? You also touched on cost of living earlier, so I wanted to ask you about that. Is that something that was important to you?
It is very important, as most international nurses, particularly coming from the Philippines, you always want to have better life for yourself and your family, and you also want to save. And Memphis is an area where you can save. Cost of living is low. Affordable housing is, you don't have to, spend too much on rent, and you can live the American dream and own your house sooner than later. Those are, I think, the main factor why kept me here in Memphis, and able to go to places in a short distance. We are a bordering state, so you can go visit other states within a day, And if you want big cities, you can do that too. Memphis, you can fly out of Memphis to any place in the United States and enjoy the other states as well. So and amazingly, there's good food in Memphis. Barbecue, um, the way the culture and the people in here and the climate is similar to where I came from in the Philippines. So there's a lot of those common things that I was pleasantly surprised. And to this date, I would not leave Memphis. If I'm gonna go move to other states, and I'm just gonna go there to visit and come back to Memphis.
Wow, well, I think that definitely speaks volumes. And I think you really hit the nail on the head, Don. When you're imagining coming to the US, if saving is important to you, you really want to look at cost of living because that's an important factor in being able to determine if, you're going to be able to afford your life, you're going to be able to save, potentially send back money. And moving to a place like Memphis with such an affordable cost of living can be a huge, huge positive. I actually did a cost of living calculator between Memphis and Los Angeles, which is where I am from. And I found that the cost of living is 62% higher in Los Angeles. So look at that housing cost number, 172% higher in LA versus Memphis. That's huge. I know that there are many international nurses who have been able to buy homes in Memphis, Tennessee, where in Los Angeles, it almost feels unattainable. That transportation cost is much lower, that food cost, entertainment cost, healthcare costs. If you're considering coming by yourself or with a family, these are all very, very important factors to consider. And going to a place like Memphis with such a reasonable cost of living can be a huge, huge positive. So thank you for sharing that, Don. That's very, very important consideration to factor in. So Heather, I want to turn to you. You talked a little bit about how you foster engagement with the community in Memphis and your international nurses. Can you touch a little bit more on how Methodist engages with the local community?
Sure. We have different community events across the community that nurses can get involved with, from health fairs to coming up in September, we'll have a Healthier 901, which is an opportunity for Methodist Le Bonheur Healthcare and all of the associated community organizations to come around and help support the city in getting healthier, providing resources, cooking tips, tools to really become healthier. We're on a challenge to help the community lose weight to become a healthier community. And Methodist Le Bonheur is really doing that with different community partners. In addition to that, we work with different organizations to make sure our nursing teams have connection. So an example is we partnered with one of the Filipino nurse associations that fosters retention of our nurses. We have about 50 to 60 current associates working with that organization today. Just to give some highlight, we also have different support groups that help support those that have come internationally to get incorporated into the Memphis community. And we work with AMN to provide community liaisons to help integrate new international nurses into Memphis and to get acclimated to the environment. But I think the key piece for Methodist Le Bonheur is we have all kinds of community outreach that we do across the city. Each hospital does variety of different community outreaches, and then our clinics as well. And our nurses and our teams can be part of that and are part of that in order to support our community efforts. And some of these are directed just simply to help improve the lives and the health of our community, but also from our associates. And we get to be part of that, participate in it and volunteer in it, and take part in these activities to help really build our community.
Thank you for sharing that, Heather. That you can really tell how important community involvement is to the Methodist team, and that your nurses are really plugged in, which I think is huge when you're considering working at a facility and want to feel plugged into that local community, really form that relationship, those friendships. So thank you for sharing. Karen, I want to turn to you. You have been a long-time Memphian. What is your favorite part about living in Memphis?
I guess, like I said, I don't have anything to compare it to because I've never lived anywhere else. But it is there's something to be said about this Southern hospitality because we are very friendly people. We care about each other, and like I said, I live in Arkansas, but I'm 15 minutes from downtown. Mississippi is just 15 minutes, pretty much 20 from downtown. So we're all right there together, and um, it is a great place. Like Don said, you can within 3 or 4 hours, you can be at a lot of different places, different states. And I know my international nurses are really enjoying that. They travel more than I do. They'll take off and go, and they'll tell me where they've been, and it's just real exciting. And we're pretty much right in the middle of the country, so everything, like Don said, is a flight away or a short drive away. And so I enjoy that. It's just home based, and this is what we do, and we're just a great community.
Thank you for sharing, Karen. I came to Nashville a couple of years ago, and I was just amazed at the food, at the music. What a vibrant, vibey place Tennessee is, with such a diverse community. Very, very, very impressed with Tennessee. I actually pulled some fun facts all about Memphis, Tennessee. So let's pull those up. And we can share with our audience some fun facts about Tennessee. Barbecue capital of the world, the birthplace of country music. Tennessee ties Missouri for bordering the most states in the U.S. 8 states border each, so that's pretty amazing. You could go to 8 states pretty easily. And Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, made Memphis his home. I'm sure you guys hear all about that and all the people who are coming to see, what is it? It's Graceland?
It is.
All right. Okay. There you go. Okay. Well, that is all about life in Memphis, Tennessee. Sounds like quite an amazing place for an international nurse to consider moving to. I'm mindful of the time, but I do want to make sure we touch on some really important parts about working at Methodist. So I'd love to talk a little bit more about career growth and the supports that you offer our international nurses. We've kind of touched on it a little bit, but I think it's a really important part of your program. So Karen, you've mentioned that you have been working at Methodist for many years. You've talked about your career trajectory. Dawn, we've seen that with you as well. Same thing, which is really a testament. Heather, can you tell us a little bit about the training and support that Methodist offers the international nurses?
Sure. So we have, traditional onboarding and orientation, and we really work to tailor it to the needs of the individual nurses that are coming on. To Dawn's point, the nurses that are coming to us from international environments have a lot of experience. So we don't want to repeat orientation that they've already had, but we want to make sure it aligns with the needs of the organization and the acuity that they're facing, and making sure that they're familiar with the equipment and that they're getting their needs met from a clinical perspective. But beyond that initial orientation and getting you onboarded, so each hospital makes something unique and specific for international nurses that come into the organization, because each hospital has a very unique flavor and feel about it. And so each nursing leadership team really makes sure they're customizing that experience for the international nurse. And that holds true for how we think of career path. So kind of what I spoke to earlier, if someone comes forward and says, I want to try something new, I have this desire, we work to make sure we're putting that individual on the right career path. So if there's a desire to become a leader, Karen mentioned it, she became a PCC. That's similar to what we would call a charge nurse. That's probably a more common term that people are used to in the industry. And then we have clinical director opportunities. And then we have different director opportunities like what Dawn's doing, infection control in specialized areas. And these are open to all of our international nurses. It's really the key to growth and development here at Methodist Le Bonheur is building a relationship with their leader like Karen or Dawn, and making sure we're aware what it is that you're desiring for your long term. And we're going to also be asking you that because we want to make sure we're aligning with your career objectives to how we can get you there. And then we're going to set you on that path. So if you're in a med surg area, you want to go to critical care, you want to go into the operating room, we have those opportunities for you after a certain period of time and can do some additional training in those specialty areas as well.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing, Heather. You know, you said something that I really want to hone in on. You didn't just say, tell us what your career growth is. You said, we're going to ask you. So I think that really shows that it's important to Methodists to make sure that you're all aligned and on the same page so that you can really help your nurses achieve whatever their career growth and goals are. And I can see everybody's nodding their head, and I think echoes the same sentiment. So thank you for sharing that, Heather. So I'm mindful that we're quite near time, and I want to make sure that everybody gets a moment just to share, you know, kind of your why. Why are you working in healthcare, and why do you choose Methodist Le Bonheur? You know, is there a moment, whether it's big or small, that kind of was like that aha moment for you? You know, for me, when I gave birth to my first daughter, and the nurse who was working or was helping me deliver, really made me feel so comfortable and safe. I just knew that's why I wanted to be in healthcare. That's why I wanted to help others find their place, so that they could do the same for other people. Really means a lot. It was a very full circle moment for me. I'd love to hear what each of your moments are. What are your whys? So Leonard, let's start with you.
Okay, choose to work as in healthcare because this is my dream since I was a kid. I want to take good care after many of our people in way back in the Philippines. So I saw in my early age how difficult it is to bring yourself to the hospital, to look for some doctors, medications, nurses, how expensive it is. So I want to be part of the changes. I want to be a part of the development. I want to be a part of that, improvements towards our healthcare community. And then I choose to work abroad, choose to work in Methodist Le Bonheur Hospital because I consider this hospital, these organizations as experience enough to nurture me, to make me a better individual and a better nurse in the future. This institution, the Methodist Le Bonheur, is existing since 1918. So it's 100 years old. These people behind this work hard, really hard, to make this organization on what they are right now. This organization that I choose is award-winning. As what Heather mentions, we are the magnet. Two of our hospitals are magnet hospitals, which is a gold standard of nursing practice, and it was accredited by the American Nursing Credentialing Center, which I think if you are given with these accreditations, you can be sure that nurses here are well versed and are expert in dealing healthcare works. And also, way back when I was in the Philippines, I have this motto of united we stand, divided we fall. And I think the values that inculcated with the Methodist Le Bonheur is aligned with mine. They have this, what's the so-called the power of one, which everyone is welcome for the improvement of the organizations. You are very invited to share knowledges, to share your skills, and to share your suggestions for the improvements of the healthcare. And I really appreciate that. Their values of service, integrity, teamwork, and quality and innovations, which I consider this a good opportunity. And I think it is the best place to retire. In fact, Karen here is 28 years in this hospital, and I see a lot of people here, workers here, friends here, and you're working here for like 40 years, 30 years, and 50 years. So I am really happy to be part of Methodist Le Bonheur, and I choose this hospital because I think this is where I belong, and this is my place of retirement. Thank you.
Wow. Well, Leonard, I think you can't say it any better than that. The place where you belong and the place where you want to retire. That is a beautiful thing to hear. And I'm sure for you, must feel so good to know that you're in the right place. So thank you for sharing that, Leonard. I do see a comment from Ash Purple. Ash is saying, once I contact AMN, how am I going to let them know that I'm interested in Methodist? That's great that you're interested in Methodist. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interest. The slots are limited. So we had a lot of interest in Methodist. So please, if you are interested, apply today. amnhealthcare.com/international. And when you talk to your recruiter, you can let them know, I saw the showcase, I was inspired, and I want to go to Methodist. Okay, so Dawn, let's turn to you. Can you give us, your moment of why healthcare, why Methodist Le Bonheur? Why are you proud to be a part of the team?
I'm proud to be part of Methodist because it's empowering. Methodist empowers its nurses. It's to allow autonomy and to make decisions. And take ownership of their child. And I think that is very important to a nurse, that you are able to speak out for your patients, that your voice is heard. That's one thing that in working with various disciplines and with nursing, with our physicians, and with other stakeholders, with administration, you will always have the opportunity to be heard, and you can make recommendations in order to improve the quality and the services that hospitals and the organization provides for its patients.
Wow, empowered. That is a very strong word. And I think really goes to show why you stayed for so long and why, that makes you feel like the place that you belonged on. So thank you for sharing that. Karen, let's go to you next.
It's funny, Don and I did not talk prior to this, but that's exactly where I would go with this story as well. I remember I was relatively a new nurse working on a surgery cardiology floor for a good 10 years. But one night I had a patient that had a vascular ring repair, and she was post-op to the floor. I mean, she came out of the PICU, and she was less than 6 months old, and her mother was at the bedside. It was midnight, and I was doing my vital signs, and I just couldn't. She was very irritable. I couldn't get her comfortable, and I'd had her the previous night because at that point I was working weekend nights, and I didn't. So I knew, my baby didn't act like this all the time, so I knew something was wrong. So I called. At that point, we've come a long way in this world, but we didn't have a CV surgeon in house or a CV doctor period in house. Everything was on call, so I had to call him at home, and I gave him my vital signs, and they were stable, and everything looked good on the baby, as a picture. But I just kept saying, my gut's telling me this is just not right. And so we talked for a little bit on the phone, and then he told me, he said, Karen, I'll have somebody come up from the PICU and look at your baby, and we'll go from there. Well, they came up, and within 15 minutes, they had that baby downstairs in the PICU. A medicine she was on had caused her blood sugar to go up very, very high, critically high. And so I was very thankful. They listened to me. I was not, very seasoned nurse at this point, but I knew enough to know that this baby wasn't doing behaving like she should be or had been. So I was very thankful for that. I had to come back the next night, and I remember having to sleep thinking, oh my goodness, hope my baby does okay in the PICU. And when I came here that night, that next day, I saw their family in the waiting room, and I thought, oh my goodness. But the baby had a wonderful outcome. And long story short, or it's a long story, they're a member of my church, my local church. And I didn't know them that well. And every time, years later, when I'd see this little baby or this little girl in church, I would cry. And my sister was usually with me, and she goes, Karen, is that baby here? Is that little girl here today? And I said, she is, and thank God she's here, and she's graduating. I can say I've become more friends with the family, and she's graduating high school this year. So, 18 years later, and it's just, it's very touching, and I appreciate that was the turning point. I'm like, they are listening to me. I am, and I do feel valued and supported, and you can't ask for anything more than that.
Wow, talk about a full circle moment, Karen, and
Yeah.
talk about connection to the community. Wow, that was a really beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure that constantly reminds you every day why you are doing what you're doing. So thank you for sharing. So Heather, last but not least, our newbie Memphian all the way from Los Angeles to Tennessee.
Yep.
You know, what's been a moment for you that's reminded you why you came to Methodist and to Memphis, Tennessee?
Well, one, the story you just heard from Karen is a story that I hear often. And I came because this is an organization that is mission driven. And every day I get to talk to leaders and frontline team members and associates who tell me stories about how they're making an impact on the people and the community that we serve. Karen's story is one, but it's such a tight knit community. And coming from a large area like Los Angeles or California, I lived in many different areas up across California. You don't get the same connection to community as you have here in the Mid-South area and in Memphis and within our Olive Branch and Mississippi area. It really is unique. And I am here to really be able to be part of the change of healthcare and to be able to support leaders and nurses in changing healthcare for the better. Healthcare is not always easy, but being able to do it in a community, in an environment that supports the values that Leonard talked about, to be able to be part of the community and to change the lives of the people that we serve, both patients, but also our associates. I think that's the key. We're really doing both, and it's amazing. And so the mission is what got me here, and every day the mission reminds me of why I'm here. And to be able to hear stories from people, it's phenomenal, and it's daily. It's a great community. It's a great family environment, and we're big. So to say we're a family, we're not one single site. We're a lot of sites, but people are connected to the name Methodist Le Bonheur. And you see across the community people wearing our T-shirts that we give out during hospital week. It's really phenomenal to feel connected to an organization that really cares about its community.
Wow. Well, I love that, Heather. I think that passion and that excitement and that love for your system and for the local community really shines through. I see we have a lot of comments in the chat. Christian is interested. What does he do? Shabanki is inspired by Leonard. Esther wants to know how she can apply. Richard Brown is interested. How do I start? So I see that there has been such an amazing reception to everything that you all have been sharing and saying about Methodist, about Memphis, Tennessee. And if you would like to apply, you can apply at our website. That's amnhealthcare.com/international. And you can let our recruiters know that you saw the showcase and you were inspired by our panel today to apply. So thank you to all of you for being here with me. Once again, it was great to see some old faces, some new faces, and just hear all about your experience. Your love and your passion really shines through, and it seems just like an amazing place to work and to be a part of the community, both at the hospital and with the local community. So thank you all so much for being here with us today and taking all of our questions and sharing your experience. I know that you have inspired many who are watching us. So thank you all. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle.
Okay, so if you were inspired once again by our amazing panel and their stories, please feel free to apply on our website. That's amnhealthcare.com/international, and our recruiters are on hand, ready and waiting to help you with your applications to work at the amazing Methodist Le Bonheur in Memphis, Tennessee. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for all of your comments and your questions. I hope you found this show inspiring, and we can't wait to see you in the U.S. reaching your American dream. Thanks, everybody. Onwards and upwards.